Let's go across to now an exclusive story which has been picked up by Nayanthara Rai. Nayanthara, what's the latest as far as NPA crackdown is concerned? What are you picking up?
Well, you could call this as a fallout of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi fleeing from India, and that's after the likes of Vijay Mallya, Jatin Mehta, etc., who are no longer in the country. So, what I do understand from my sources, and this is quite important, the Finance Ministry is very seriously looking at a proposal where any promoter whose company has been referred to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, that means it's an NCLT and the proceedings have initiated, their passports have to be surrendered to the lead banks. Obviously, the idea that such promoters cannot flee the country, the large defaulters have to stay within India, and is clearly a fallout of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi. But this also means that promoters that you're currently seeing who are maybe cooperating, whose companies are being liquidated or being sold, their passports could also be seized and will have to be surrendered to the lead banks. So that's one of the big suggestions that is coming in, which I understand from my sources. The Banking Secretary, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, is very actively looking at. Now, this is a proposal the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI, as well as the banks, are in favor of. This is, of course, to increase debt recovery and to ensure that process goes through. And even as when Parliament is on, the Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill is being tabled today. However, it has to be debated. So in the interim, could you see such a proposal come out? And it just doesn't stop there. So far, you've seen news flow like willful defaulters have to submit their passport details. But it goes beyond that. The Finance Ministry now looking at why should the willful defaulters passport not be cancelled altogether. So that proposal is also being looked at very, very actively as we speak.
Isn't this going to be counterproductive for the industry?
There are two ways of looking at it. I think the public angst is just so high, and this, like I said, is a very high emotional topic right now. How is it that people like Vijay Mallya are not in India, were allowed to get away, Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, etc. So counterproductive or not, the government seems to be looking at this to ensure that you don't see a repeat of such a situation. But what is also worth noting is that normally, by the time a scam comes to light, the promoters have already left the country. But clearly the idea being that if your company is being referred to the IBC, your passport must be taken away and submitted to the lead banker. So that's the latest as far as the NPA crackdown goes.
All right. Thanks very much, Nayanthara, for filling us in with all of those details. That's the latest that we're picking up with respect to the NPA crackdown. Finance Ministry there bundling the proposal of banks seizing the passports of the IBC promoters.